Hello. Welcome to the Heller Approach Acting Studio YouTube channel. My name is Brad Heller. Just want to say thank you all. I can't tell you how many great comments I get. We have so many subscribers. I think we're nearing or above or close to at least 1 million hits now. And you know, it's really neat to see that that these lessons are helpful to you all. A lot of the comments that I get are from people saying things like, you know, thanks for making acting so much easier, which is awesome to hear considering the guy who taught me the foundation of the technique wrote that book, Acting Without Agony. So anyway, that makes me feel good. I feel like we're on the right track. But I have been getting requests for more videos, and so I thought we were going to do another little series. And today's topic is less is more. Okay, now, what does less is more mean? As an actor, it's very hard sometimes to feel like when you're performing something that you're doing a good enough job. And sometimes, as actors, what we do to make sure that our job is coming through is we feel this sense to sort of improve or make a moment bigger so that your point with that moment comes through. If you guys remember the technique, and I talked about objective. So for example, objective is what I want, right? So my objective right now is to make you see something or to teach you. But as an actor, when we're playing our objective, if suddenly we kind of go from our objective of the character and we start thinking about making sure that we look good, our objective actually almost becomes to make sure it's right. So what does that do? What it does is it gives one this sense of making your performance something instead of, as I've talked about in some of my other lessons, the ability to receive and keep things honest and truthful. So my point with less is more is when we feel this urge to do more to improve the moment, we have to resist that temptation to go there and just deliver the moment as it feels. Honesty and truth, as I've said to you, is by far the most important thing. And of course, the reason is so that we can connect with you, so that we can relate to the character. We can watch them and go, oh, that reminds me of me or somebody I know. So once we try to give a performance, we cut that tie. And suddenly we're giving a performance and the audience can't connect to that. So less would, in a sense, be resisting the temptation to perform something or make it something. It's hard to do. I mean, it took me a long time. And even today, you know, it's something that even as an actor today, I sometimes find myself battling, like to not give in to that urge to make sure something is coming through. And it's completely counterintuitive if you really think about it, because here we are, we're trying to make the moment great. And in doing that, we actually kill the moment and make it terrible. So again, less is more is going to be resisting the temptation to improve a moment. It's about keeping something honest and real. There's that principle I've talked about before, which is wherever you are in the moment is where you are. And we can't improve where we are in the moment. We can't make it something that we think it should be. Because by the time we get there, the moment's gone. And we have to remember, too, that the audience sees this. I mean, they see it. It's so obvious when you're watching an actor and suddenly you lose interest frequently because the actor playing the character lost truth, lost honesty. So when we're building a scene, for example, in my class last night when I was teaching, there was an actor and he was doing a scene and it required a tremendous amount of emotion. The character was supposed to be freaking out, like hysterical. And he did his work and it was honest, but the problem was it didn't have enough hysteria in the scene to make the story the most interesting it could be. As we talked about, acting is 80% emotion. He didn't have enough emotion. So what do you do? So again, there's two steps to acting. There's the preparing part and then there's the executing part. The preparing part is going to be building the scene, building that hysteria, doing the breathing exercise, punching it up where it's going to feel very laborious and not particularly fun. The executing phase is what I saw last night. So he just kind of let go and executed the scene, and in a sense he resisted the temptation to make it something. But even though he executed, it didn't sell the scene because he didn't do enough preparation. So in a sense, we've got to remember that we have to do both things. First, we've got to prepare by building the scene, doing all of the exercises we've talked about, and then we execute the scene and just let it happen. And hopefully, if you've done enough work in just letting it happen, you're not improving the moment. You're not trying to make it something that it doesn't feel. When we just do it, if we've done enough preparation, then the work should be great. On the other hand, if you haven't done enough preparation and you just let go, you may be honest, and it may have a nice sort of glide to it, like an ease to your work. But the problem is if you don't do enough preparation, there's not going to be enough underneath as you execute. So, when you're practicing, make sure that you do enough preparation so that when you execute and you just let go in the scene, that there's enough there. B, make sure that even though you've done a lot of preparation, make sure that when you get to that audition or when you're performing your piece, you venture into that second phase, which is just letting go and executing. It's hard to do. It requires a tremendous amount of courage and faith that you're going to be enough, because again, the urge is to watch. The urge is to have a little part of you coming out here and saying, hey, make sure that you look right. And that's where the courage part falls into play. That's where you got to dig deep and say, you know what? I'm going to do my best work. And if it comes through, fine. If not, fine. I mean, you really have nothing to lose, because if you do watch yourself, we know for a fact that's going to fail. On the other hand, if you don't watch yourself and you just trust and let it happen, at least there's some hope. So try to resist that temptation to improve your performance by making it something. So I hope that I helped you today with that particular principle, less is more, and that it made something clear to you with regards to what we're aiming for when we're performing something. And try to not call it performing, by the way, too. We should really just call it reacting, receiving, letting it happen, not making it, not performing. We don't want to do anything. So, if you have any questions, make sure that you submit your questions on our comments. Feel free to write us at the 𝗖𝗹𝗹 on our Facebook page or on Twitter, or subscribe, of course, to our channel. And you can always reach us at 𝗖𝗹𝗹.com. And that's all for now. And we'll see you soon. And keep acting.